Hello humans, it's just Martine and welcome to the start of the last week of Squash That Series. Squash That Series is a recurring readathon focused on sequels that is created by Bailey from Is Bailey Reading and Kayla from Kayla Ray Reads. But for the month of January, we've been embroiled in an epic tournament bracket style version of this, and we're approaching the last week. Technically, the first few days of this vlog will be in the second to last week because I just finished up the game board. You can check out that vlog here, but I know that there is a possibility, maybe a large possibility, that the last week will be very short depending on what game we get to play. So I have lots of sequels that I'm in the middle of and or want to finish before the end of Squash That Series so I can focus on the books that I want to read in February instead of focusing on finishing all of these. So I thought I'd bring you along as I try to do that, and then partway through the vlog we'll see what the game is for the last week and we'll see what we can do. So let's get to it. Happy Monday! This weekend I enjoyed a nice long walk, and so on that walk I ended up finishing For You and Only You by Caroline Kepnes, which is the fourth book. I was about to say fourth and final, but I don't know. A fifth one has not been announced, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. Book in the Joe Goldberg You series. And I'm giving this one 3.5, making it not my favorite of the series. I think there are a couple reasons for this. One, in this one, I just didn't really like the love interest that much. I didn't find her interesting at all. I don't know. Two, he definitely killed less people in this one, which if this were real life and not a story, would be good news. But this is a story, and I read it to see who and how he's gonna kill people. So that was a bit disappointing. One thing that was also weird and funny about this one is how much they talked about Goodreads. He called the love interest a Goodreads girl and talked about Goodreads girls so much, and I was just like, so that was weird. And just generally, I found this one less interesting. I do have to say, shout out to, I forget his name, but the guy who narrates all the audiobooks, he does such a good job. Such a good job. And this won't count for anything for Squash That Series, except if we're going with the vibe of any series that you are working on squashing does count for Squash That Series, regardless of what the prompt is. But I had to get it done because it was due at the library and I could not renew it. So I could not wait for the next game to be spun and fit it in somewhere. It had to happen now. So it did. It did happen. Hello, it's Wednesday morning, which means that the game was announced last night for this week and things are going full force ahead. So we ended up spinning Traffic Light, and the idea of Traffic Light is to read books farther in series. So the higher the number of the book, like a book 9, the more points. I don't have the best selections for this, but I'm just going to try my best. One thing that my team is doing is not submitting before noon today because one of the possible advantages you could buy last week with stars was the ability to block a certain cheerleader for the first 12 hours, meaning anything they submit doesn't count. And so we want to avoid that, so we're not going to finish books until noon. So I'm just making progress on some of the higher number books that I have in series. I have a book 7 that I've been working on since the beginning of this tournament in hopes of getting Traffic Light this very moment. I've been waiting for it. And I also have the 6th, I think, book in the Enola Holmes series that I'm working on right now. That's a quick read, but still over an hour, so I don't have to use the under an hour rule. And I'm really super happy that we got Traffic Light. I mean, my team added slices to the wheel with our advantages to get a higher chance of Traffic Light this week because we really wanted a game that lasted the whole week. It's been a couple weeks since that happened and we didn't want the readathon to end early. We luckily got our way and we'll be playing all week and I'm super excited about it. Off to reading I go. Good morning, happy Thursday. I'm here to bring you some updates. I finished a couple books yesterday to get my team up and rolling. So far so good. Team Catherine is currently in the lead, but we'll wait and see what happens because so far Danielle hasn't submitted anything, so we don't actually know where we stand, really. Her points are worth so much more than every book her cheerleader puts in. Anyway, so books that I finished yesterday. 1, I finished The Case of the Disappearing Duchess by Nancy Springer, which is the 6th book in the Enola Holmes series, a series about Sherlock Holmes' little sister. It's full of codes and puzzles and all those things, and it's usually a missing persons case. And so in this one, a duchess disappeared, and I really liked this one. I think like I can see the series going in a direction that I really enjoy at this point. So I gave this one 3.5 stars, but I'm hopeful that maybe we'll get a 4 stars or above in the last 3 books in the series, which I'm planning to hopefully read all this week for this, because this is like my highest number count that I'm in series. I finished that. And then I also finished Rainbow Valley by L.M. Montgomery, the 7th book in the Anne of Green Gables series, which I gave 4 stars. I've been reading that one all month to wait specifically for Traffic Light, so happy to finally use it. And that also means I'll get to read the 8th book this week, as long as I follow my plan. We're at the point in the series where we are following less of Anne herself and more of Anne's children, and specifically in this one there's also a new minister in town, and we're following his children a lot, and that was a precious storyline. I loved all of them so dearly. They tried to be their best selves, and everybody in town was just like, what you're doing is wrong, and they were just trying their best. It was so cute. I also finished another Magic Treehouse book. That only counts as 0.5 because it took me under an hour to read, and that was Stallions by Starlight, which I'm giving 3.5 stars. It was about Alexander the Great. I need to finish these Magic Treehouse books before Saturday when the live show is. And then I also finished listening to the audiobook The Power of Six, which is only book 2 in a series, despite what the number 6 in the title might lead you to believe. This series is like a YA sci-fi series that was written in the 2010s. I'm not sure how popular it was because I never knew people who were obsessed with it, but I'm enjoying it so far. I gave this second book 3.5 stars, so I liked it a little less than the first one, but overall the concept of this series is really cool. We're following these children. Well, in the first one we're following number 4, which is why the first one's called I Am Number 4. They are guards from this alien planet. They've been sent to keep their alien race alive. They're on Earth being protected, but they're being hunted down by this other species. There are 10 of them. They can only be killed in order, and at the start of the first book, the third one has just been killed, and then we're following number 4, and we see what happens from there. The second one, I think the reason I liked it less is because I think there was so much action in this one. I still had a fun time, and I'm really enjoying the cast of characters that we're building and collecting across time. In total, that was a book 6, a book 7, a 0.5, and then a 2. So it was 15 and a half points yesterday, which then is divided by 16 and then divided by 2 again. So barely anything in the grand scheme of things, but I'm trying my best. And today I'm hoping to start the next Enola Holmes book and some other things, and we'll see where we go from there. Good morning, happy Friday. Yesterday I made some progress, but maybe not as much as I wanted, but I did end up finishing 2 more things to submit, one for only half a point and then one for 7 points. So for half a point I read Enola Holmes and the Boy in the Buttons, which is a quick short story in the Enola Holmes series about Enola's assistant and his brother quickly going missing, and that was pretty good. I think I gave it 3 stars. And then I read Enola Holmes and the Black Barouche? I don't know how you pronounce that word. That's a my bad thing. But I gave that one 4 stars. I'm actually in general really liking where this series is going. Even though the series is about Sherlock Holmes's younger sister, there's been barely any Sherlock in the series so far, and that's fine. That's not the point of the series. But as the series continues, we get more and more Sherlock, and I just have to appreciate that because Sherlock Holmes is one of my favorite literary characters ever. So I'm enjoying that, and that contributed 7 points to my team, so that's good. Today, I think, is just going to be a progress day. I need to read another Magic Treehouse book before the live show tomorrow, and that'll get us half of a point, but it needs to be done. So I'll work on that, and then I guess make progress in other things. I don't know. I don't really expect to finish anything aside from the Magic Treehouse today, but then I'm hoping that this weekend I can knock some things out. So far, Team Catherine is still in the lead, but I know Danielle has been busy, and when Danielle stops being busy, then I think things are going to get scary. So we'll just have to wait and see. I have other books to technically talk to you about first, but I just finished reading Heartstopper Volume 5, and I don't know if you know that feeling where you're not crying, but there's something deep inside of you that wishes you were crying. That's how I feel right now. I finally got a 5-star book this year. taken over a month. But this is how you should feel when you read a book. I'm so unwell. I'm so deeply, deeply unwell. I don't know what to do with myself. Happy Monday. I have some books to review for you because on Saturday when I was reading Heartstopper, I told you I would do those reviews and I haven't yet. So that's what this moment is for. I technically have 5 books to tell you about. Some are from the same series. Well, just 2 of them, I guess. So we'll go through them. I finished the last Magic Tree House book that I had to read for the December and January live show, which was Hurry Up Houdini. I gave it 4 stars. The 2 books I read from the same series were The Rise of 9 and The Fall of 5 by Pittacus Lore, and things are happening now. They are happening. And so I gave The Rise of 9 3.5 stars, and then The Fall of 5 3 stars. We're really getting into the point where they're like middle books. There's a lot of action, but maybe not like a lot of intrigue for me, I would say. Lots of fighty, but not much development happening, I guess. But they're fun audiobook listens, and that's how I'm doing it, so whatever. And then I finally finished The Case for Jamie, which is the 3rd book in the Charlotte Holmes series, which is another Sherlock retelling. I'm reading so many Sherlock retellings right now. And so it's a mystery series in the like kind of Sherlockian style, but honestly, they're not like regular mysteries. This series is very much focusing on the conflict between the Holmes and Moriarty families, I would say. And this 3rd book I gave 3.5 stars. I liked it better than the 2nd book. The 2nd book was so confusing to me for some reason, and this one I was following along pretty well, so that was nice. But I don't really have many other thoughts about it. And then I finished my reread of The Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder by Joanna Fluke, because I really wanted to restart the series because I read some of these books when I was younger, like growing up, and I've always wanted to say I continued with the series, so I thought I would start over. I knew going into this one that I remembered the scene of the reveal of like who the killer was, but not why they were the killer. That's an interesting way to go into a mystery book, I would say. This is just a really fun cozy mystery series, maybe like the pinnacle of cozy mystery series, where we're following Hannah Swenson and she owns a cookie shop and there are all these cookie recipes. She ends up solving some murders in her little small town. I do recommend the recipes in this series. I've only made the original chocolate chip crunches, which are the main like cookie of this 1st book, but they're so good. It's been years since I've had them, but they were so good. I made them several times back when I was like into this series growing up, and other people also really liked them, so I recommend them. Hurry Up Houdini only gave me half a point. Same with Heartstopper, because they both took less than an hour to read. Rise of 9 gave me 3 points, Fall of 5 gave me 4. Case for Jamie gave me 3 points, and then Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder gave me 1 point. But I've been reading that for a couple weeks now, so I wanted it done anyway, and 1 point's better than nothing, I guess. Since it's Monday, that means tomorrow's the last day of the readathon, and I have some plans. I think my ending plans are as follows. I started reading the last Anne of Green Gables book, Rilla of Ingleside, so that's a book 8 in a series. I want to finish that. I'm halfway through. I've started the 8th Enola Holmes book, and I want to finish that, and then I want to read the 9th and last Enola Holmes book. Anything else I don't think is like a priority. Like I might listen to the next Lorien Legacy one. That's the Alien YA series, but it really depends. Like I'm not really in an audiobook mood, so I'm not going to force myself to do that, but those 3 books are my like, I want this finished, because that will finish off 2 series, one that I've been reading for years and one that I started last year during Wonderathon, and that would just feel really good. That's the plan. Good afternoon. It is Tuesday. I was about to say Thursday, but that's just wishful thinking. Oh. Okay, so here's the deal. It's the very last day of this readathon. Cannot believe it. I have 1 more book I want to finish today, but yesterday I finished 2 books. They're actually both book number 8 in a series, which was crazy. So I finished reading Enola Holmes and the Elegant Escape, which is the 8th Enola Holmes book, and I gave this one 3.5 stars, so not my favorite in the series, but still pretty fun. In this one, she's basically trying to help this girl who's being trapped by her father in her house. And then After a good push of reading last night, I did manage to finish reading Rilla of Ingleside, which is the 8th and final Anne of Green Gables book about Anne's daughter Rilla, and I think it's World War I. Am I remembering the correct war? Yes, it's World War I. And so in this one, at the beginning, we're following Rilla, and she's kind of like, she doesn't really have a plan for her life, and she's kind of all over the place. And then World War I starts, and a lot of the people around home end up going off to fight for Canada, and she is left kind of needing to grow up a bit. And I gave this one 4.5 stars. I really liked it. One part made me really sad. If you know, you know. But I think it was interesting because I feel like a lot of this series has been really focused on the small places in which Anne and her family have lived. And this one kind of went, yeah, we're in a small place, but it's connected to everything bigger, which I really liked. I'm glad that the whole series is not that way. I like the little focus, but it was nice for once to see the like expanded view of the world and this small place in relation to the larger world and the larger goings on. It was funny though, because like at the beginning, the like main act that starts World War I, you know, the person who gets shot, they like read about it in the paper, and one of them goes like, oh, this is so boring, like it's not related to us, I don't care. And then it causes World War I, and suddenly they care a lot more about what's happening in the wider world than they do about the gossip of their small town, which I think is just interesting to put it into perspective. And it was also such a heartening story about how hard times help us grow and all of that. So I really enjoyed it. With that, I got a total of 16 points from those 2 books, so really glad about that. The race is closer than I am comfortable with, but I can only do so much, so I'm going to read the last Enola Holmes book today, book 9, and that'll probably be me for Squash That Series. So it's over. I cannot believe it's over. I did finish the last Enola Holmes book, Enola Holmes and the Mark of the Mongoose, yesterday, and I gave it 3.5 stars, which is pretty average for this series. This one did have like an interesting bit because it was kind of about rabies, which was interesting, but it was a nice simple book to leave off on. And then last night we were still in the lead, and then I woke up this morning and made the final points announcement, and we lost by like 2 points. So obviously I'm in mourning now, but congratulations to Danielle, one of my besties. She won the whole thing. I'm so proud of her. I know she wanted it really badly and she worked really hard for it, but because of that, it's the end of the Squash That Series tournament. So I'm gonna end this vlog here. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below what was your favorite week of the Squash That Series tournament, and subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye.